Philippians 2:3 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves." I'm recording this from Lacoste, France, where I've been teaching for the past few weeks, and I've been around a lot of new people, new personalities, new dynamics, and I find that has a way of showing you exactly where ego is still running the show. Allow me to tell you what I've been ruminating on these last few weeks. I think most of us misunderstand ego. We imagine ego is arrogance, loud people, people who think they're better than everybody else. Maybe. But I think for a lot of women, ego wears an apron. It comes, it carries everyone else's burdens. It never asks for help. It keeps score. It needs to be appreciated. It calls it self-sacrifice when really it's martyrdom. And martyrdom is just ego wearing a halo. And that realization stopped me because suddenly I started seeing ego at work everywhere. Not in the obvious places, mind you, in the subtle ones. The need to explain yourself, the need to have the last word, the need to make sure people understood your intentions, the need to remind your boss of everything you've done for them. And for me, it's the need to fix my daughter's pain because watching her hurt makes me uncomfortable. And none of that looks like pride. It looks like love, until I realized that a lot of it is self-protection. So here goes. Number one, notice your need to be right. Have you noticed how a simple conversation can become like a courtroom? Your partner says something, and immediately you're gathering evidence, you're building your case, you're preparing your exhibit A. You're thinking of the perfect comeback because somewhere deep inside your nervous system believes that if I'm wrong, this is not going to fare well. So here's the practice. Pause. And I like to call it the sovereign pause. You don't have to defend every misunderstanding. You don't have to correct every version of the story. Sometimes you can let them be wrong about you and learn to be at peace. That is freedom. Number two, fire your inner defense attorney. Because here's the truth. Are you even listening? Or are you waiting? Waiting for your turn, waiting to explain, waiting to be understood, waiting to tell your version. Meanwhile, your wife is trying to tell you about her pain. And instead of asking, what does this feel like for you? You're asking, what does this say about me? And those are two completely different conversations. One is love, and the other is ego, the false self. Number three, stop rescuing people so you can feel better. I know, this one hurts. Your brother shares something painful, and before they even finished, we're offering advice, sharing our story, trying to solve it. Not always because they need fixing, sometimes because their discomfort is again making us uncomfortable. Presence is harder than advice. Silence is harder than solutions. And sometimes the greatest act of love is simply saying, I'm here. Nothing more. Number four, burn the emotional scorecard. And I think this is the hardest one. You remember every sacrifice, every text you sent first, every apology, every holiday you organized, every emotional burden you carried, every time you showed up. And then what happens? You quietly resent people for not being there. And that's not generosity, that's bookkeeping. Love isn't a ledger, and martyrdom isn't holiness. It's exhausted ego. So here's what I've really been ruminating on. The ego always asks, what am I owed? Love asks, what can I freely give? And those are not the same question. And the older I get, the less interested I am in winning arguments, winning approval, winning the image of being the good one. I'd rather have peace. I'd rather have presence. I'd rather have enough security in who I am that I can lay my weapons down, because here's the beautiful thing. You don't empty yourself because you're worthless. You empty yourself because you're already full, because your identity isn't hanging on this conversation or this disagreement or this person's opinion. You are already held, which means you can finally unclench. So this week's field guide is this. Notice where your false self is hiding. Not in your confidence, not in your accomplishments. Look for it in your need to explain, your need to fix, your need to be appreciated, your need to be right. And ask yourself one question. What would love do here if it didn't need credit? And that's the question that has been changing me. I'm Sandra Daley. I'm an author, professor, and creative consultant, writing and teaching from here in Lacoste, France this summer. I write about faith, ego, sovereignty, and the sacred work of becoming, especially for women in the second half of their life. My book, Sacred and Sovereign, 365 Days of Biblical Wisdom, Reinterpreted for Women, is available on Amazon, and it's available as an instant PDF download at sandradaley.com. And if this resonated with you, if you recognize yourself somewhere in this field guide, I'd love to walk alongside you. Weekly reflections like this one live in my Substack. And if you want something more personal, a one-on-one conversation, a coaching session just for you, reach out. Sometimes we don't need more information. We just need someone to witness us clearly, and I'd be honored to be that person. Find me at sandradaley-sharif.substack.com. The link is in the bio.